It's some 3 days to NPP's big day for choosing their flag bearer for election 2028. 5 candidates poised to make history depending on who wins. My name is Bernard Abler. Welcome to The Point of View. Tonight, we're continuing our running programming on that political party. And we're looking at the polls because there are a number of polls that have come up. And I've picked 2 polls, and I'm bringing the pollsters to tell me why they believe their poll is correct. So Musa has been consistently polling, and we know he's done elections in Ghana. He thinks the path for Dr. Bawumia to be NPP flag bearer is very clear. Japan is second, and the rest are in the distant 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But there's another poll, Dr. Duah. He gives the lead to Kennedy Japan, and he believes, based on his 3 waves of polling, on Saturday, Kennedy Japan will emerge as NPP flag bearer. So tonight, both men are here to defend their work and for you to make a decision. Stay with us.
Welcome to Malcolm, where shopping is a musical experience for all generations. Grannies, let's roll it back.
Malcolm Ghana, we did for you. Malcolm's got it all for me and you. Sizzling discounts, we take up by a distance. Bring back home the experience we did for you. Life made so easy, peasy, lemon squeezy, shopping made easy. Sometimes money day, sometimes some way out of pocket. We got you everywhere, everything, we got it all right here. Malcolm season. The price is right.
The price is right.
The price is nice.
The price is nice.
Fresh with the vibes, unbeatable. If the price they fight,
If the price they fight,
come for the views,
come for the views,
come for the likes,
come for the likes.
everything you they want under one roof. Even come for the ride.
Oh, yeah, come for the ride.
Number one stop shop, number one. Your number one stop shop, Malcolm. Your number one stop shop, number one. Your number one stop shop, Malcolm. Malcolm Ghana, we did for you. Malcolm's got it all for me and you.
No matter the generation you belong to, Malcolm is where Ghana shops.
Bring back home the experience we did for you.
Bring home the experience.
So tonight we're looking at the numbers as the NPP decides big time. 5 gentlemen, Kennedy Ohine Japan, Brian Echampong, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, Dr. Oseyao Educhum, and Kwabne Ejie Japan. Those are the 5 candidates. Musa Dankwa is in studio with me tonight. Dr. Duah joins me virtually by video link. Musa, thanks for joining.
It's my pleasure.
You've been here many times. You are very busy working overtime. Let's just cut through the chase. Your prediction is that Dr. Bawumia gets 57%, Kennedy gets 28%, Brian gets 13%, Educhum gets 2%, and Kwabena Japan 0 point something. Is this your final prediction?
Yes.
Does your prediction take into cognizance the large undecided? Because when you were sending the polls to us, there's been a consistent 20% undecided, I don't know type of thing. It takes into consideration that
Everything has been taken into account here.
So
including those who are not disclosing.
So it's a one-touch.
It's a one-touch victory.
For Bawumia?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to give you a few minutes to walk me through because you sent me many slides. Show me your 5 most important slides that explains why you think Dr. Bawumia is going to win.
Okay. First and foremost is the demography of NPP voters.
The demography?
Demography. Let's go to the age profile of NPP delegates.
Age profile of NPP delegates.
And we know NPP is a conservative party.
Yeah.
Party of preserving traditions. Party of not wanting disruptions. If we believe in this philosophy, and we believe that the profile of our delegates is accurate, then the messaging of the candidate will have to differ to appeal to these people.
So this is what you're talking about?
Yes. Look,
No, you can sit down.
only 12% of delegates are below 34 years of age. The rest of them are older. Right? These are people who are fading out. If you take away, let's say, those who are 44, the rest that are normally fading out. And NPP, being a conservative party, does not like disruptions. So mavericks don't do well in conservative party. We have sometimes one-off situation. If you take the GOP in the United States, where you have Trump coming as a disruptor, one-off, he comes back again. And we all have seen how jittery Americans are with Trump too.
So which means that the age profile of NPP delegates does not align with the national election age profile?
No.
Because for a national election,
The younger people are
18 to 34 is much more.
78.
So that's an interesting point.
There
There are older people choosing their candidates, yet
Absolutely.
the national election has younger voters.
Absolutely. That is where the structure of the party is impacting the campaign.
I see. So that's your first point.
First point.
The age profile, in your view, favors. By the way, 35 to 44 means that they were born between 1981 and 1992.
Yeah.
Which means the first president they saw
They didn't even see.
was Rawlings.
That, they may be ruling 1 year or
You
less.
know, if you are born in 81,
Yes. Okay,
you would have
81.
voted in a Kufuor election.
Kufuor's
So
yes.
the upper end would have seen Rawlings.
Yes.
Some of them would have seen only Kufuor.
Kufuor.
But these guys only know Kufuor. So you say these guys are more ready for change in your view than
Yes,
these guys?
than these guys.
I see. So that's your first one. What's your second reason?
Now, the second reason is to go to this chart. We asked them whether they believe in the notion that presenting a candidate for the second time are near to the benefit of the party in the general election.
So the question, do you agree or disagree that presenting a candidate for the second time will enhance NPP chances in the election?
Yes.
The pie chart.
The pie chart.
And what did we find there?
45% of the delegates agree.
That presenting a candidate for the second time will enhance the party's chances.
Only 23% disagree.
Okay. But you recognize the leading question.
Sorry?
You recognize the leading question.
No, because at that time we didn't tell them who we're going to ask them who are they going to vote for.
I know, I'm saying, but
Because
it's a leading question.
one candidate fits that criteria, and there was campaign messages and counter messages.
But I'm saying, that if
against
you
that.
accept, for example, do you agree that a fresh candidate will enhance the party's chances? That's also another way of asking this one.
No,
But this one is basically sort of asking them to endorse a preconceived position.
they can disagree
I hear you.
because Kufuor fit the same bill,
Okay.
Nando fit the same bill,
Alright.
and Bawen fit the same bill. So, and the argument has been that Kufuor went to the same route, Nando went the same route. Why not Baumia? So we want to test whether this thing is really relevant for the delegate, and we saw a glimpse of what they are saying.
So 45 said they agree, 23 said they disagree, but a very high percentage are neutral. What does neutral mean? I don't know. I don't care.
No,
I won't say.
he doesn't want to take sides in terms of whether it is pro or anti.
Which means they understood the question was asking them whether they like Baumia or not.
That's why we didn't put anybody's name there.
Because if
We say a candidate.
if the neutral was, I won't say I don't know. But if you say neutral, it means, well, I don't want to tell you.
No, neutral. Well, for me, I'm indifferent.
I see. Indifferent.
Indifferent.
But when you put indifferent and disagree together, it's more than I agree.
But
It can't be all together.
it can't
Clearly,
be
you
all
have to
together.
split it.
It can't be all together.
I see.
It can't
So
be
for you,
altogether.
this reveals that more of the delegates, by the way, are these delegates?
Delegates, yes.
More of the delegates are amenable to repetition
Yes.
than
And
those
you
who
see-
are against repetition.
And this will come to light when you say, if there is a runoff, who would you vote for? Then people who may have even said they agree, yet voting for other candidates, in the runoff, they come back to back the candidate who fit the bill.
I get your point. So these are questions you use to glean mindsets before asking the real question.
Absolutely.
So it's an interesting approach.
Yes.
It's an interesting approach. What was the So you have given me two reasons: demography, question around feelings of repetition. What other reason did you sort of use to come to
The
this
qualities. What qualities
Okay.
are you going to take into account to select
So
the person you want to
qualities
vote for?
influencing candidates' choice. Okay.
And this one, we give them these qualities.
You give them a set.
Set, yes.
Can win, cares for the grassroots, brings change, unites NPP, is trustworthy, is humble, other factors, and a fighter. So you give them these qualities.
Yes.
And can win is 23%.
They want someone who can win the election for them.
But how is that a quality?
What are they looking
That's the
at for?
product of an effort. Is that a quality? I mean, whether you can win or not depends on how much you work, no?
No, but they want somebody who they believe can win the election for them.
How would they know?
How are they selecting like Blackberry then?
If you look at my face, how do you know if I can win or not? Is that a quality? I mean, I'm being a bit difficult here, but
Yeah, I
understand trustworthy.
Yes.
I understand humble. I understand a fighter. I understand unity. And I can understand bring change, but can win is a bit tough. But fair enough. They want a candidate who can win.
Yes, as you can see, majority of them, 23% of the qualities they cited was can win.
My challenge with that is, are you able to tell whether between Bernard and Musa who can win? Because did you then go ahead to ask them?
The delegates
Yeah.
have whatever they use to measure whether you can win or not. So we don't give them any example to guide them. No.
Okay, but
We would triangulate.
Yes.
And see those who say can win, who were they voting for?
No problem.
So this is a way of another
Because I'm prejudiced here, right? But if I look at this, the only two factors that I can attribute strongly to a candidate, humble and fighter. I mean, based on the way the two have been framed, you can say Dr. Bawumia is seen as humble, and you can see Kennedy Japan is a fighter. But even if it's a fighter, Brian Champon could be seen as a fighter too. Do you understand what I'm saying? You could say Educhum is humble. I don't know. So did you then go in to say which of these qualities best describe this person?
No, we didn't.
You didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
You don't want that trouble.
I don't want that trouble. I wanted the me to see whether.
So how does this tell you that?
No, we'll come there. You will see.
Okay.
The evidence down the line.
There's evidence later.
Down the line.
All right. Can bring change 16%. Unite NPP. I also find unite NPP and bring change can be at loggerheads because sometimes the unity candidate is the one who will not shake things up, and then can bring change candidate is the one who will shake things up. So I feel like those two qualities can be in opposition, and they are both 16-16.
Bernard, do you know your problem?
What?
Let's go to the delegates profile of the MPP.
Okay, then maybe to help me. I'm not a delegate. That's my problem.
Right. Let's go to the educational level of MPP delegates.
Okay, guys, show me educational level of delegates.
Going up.
Education.
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 It has to go all the way to the beginning of the slides.
Yeah, so please go back to education. So I think it's earlier in the slide. Education.
Much earlier.
Yeah. So you feel like there's a clue there?
There's a clue there. You see, demography does everything.
Education level.
Level of the delegates. Now, when we get there, you will realize that 43% of the delegates have the junior high school as the highest level of education.
This one, thank
yes.
you. Yes. All right.
Junior high school, 43%. No formal education, 11%. 11 plus 43 is 54. Bernard, you are having a serious intellectual debate here about these qualities.
Are you telling me that? Oh, no, sorry. Sorry. You're saying that I'm overanalyzing the issue?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You are doing the analysis at this level, tertiary level.
Well, I thought it was just common sense questions anyway, but
no,
fair enough.
No.
So your point is that these people don't care about all the various things I'm saying around, unity versus fighter. They just have qualities.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. So this point number 4.
Simplicity.
So the level of education means that they answer questions, we should take the answers at face value.
Face value.
I get you.
And also the kind of campaign strategy and communication strategy would differ.
Okay.
So if your campaign strategy and the strategy of communication doesn't align with this profile, you are shooting off.
Okay. So that's your fourth strong point. The profile of who they want to, a winner, cares about the grassroots, is a unifier, can bring change. Those are the more important things for them.
The last but not least, we asked a particular question to all the delegates that how do you see the following candidates? Do you see them very favorably, or very unfavorable, or unfavorable, or you have no opinion?
Favorability rating.
Rating. So every delegate is asked to rate all the candidates.
Favorable.
Yes. And when we analyze that, you subtract the unfavorability from the favorable to see the net.
So everybody has 100.
100.
So the net.
The net.
So that's where you have favorability rating of candidates.
Yes.
DMB has 93.
93.
DBA actually has the second, 86.
Yes.
KAA and KOA have 85 each, and DYA has 83. So you're saying that the candidate with the least problem with delegates is Baumia.
Yes.
He has the highest favorability rating.
Yes.
Interesting. So all of these together with then the real issue of who will you vote for convinces you that the voting answer aligns with these others.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to just be deceived that I'll vote for this person.
No. And you know, they are
Please
not
show me
aware,
the favorability rating.
they are not aware that we are trying to link these answers to the ultimate question. They're not
Because you
aware.
don't ask it in a certain order.
No.
So by the time you finish, how long have you been doing this job?
7 years now.
Okay, so you've learned the tricks of
I've
the
learned
trade.
the tricks already.
So you feel like sometimes respondents can give you answers they feel you want. So you use other means of triangulation
to see whether they are
to see consistency.
Absolutely.
I see your point.
Absolutely.
So if you even get somebody say, I'll vote for somebody, if you don't believe in the response, you can check it.
you can check it.
All right. So let me take my next guest and I'll come back to you. So you've given me 5 things. The profile of NPP delegates, they are not as young. And you think young people want change, older people want continuity.
Yes.
Then you said what's the second point?
Education profile.
Education profile, JHS and below is a lot. Who do you want to see in your flag bearer? The answers there give you a certain clue. And then favorability ratings. I think there was one more I've missed.
And then the qualities.
Qualities you want to see.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Let me bring in Dr. Evans Duah. Doc, thanks for joining us on The Point of View. I'm going to welcome you with your this is your first time on the show, right? Good evening.
Yeah, this is my first time.
Welcome to the family.
you
So who
so
are you?
much.
I know this guy, but I see behind your name CGMA, ACMA, CACEE, CGIA, FCILG, and MIOD. What are those things?
So I'm a French and English trained business expert. So I'm perfectly bilingual. I speak French as I speak English.
All right.
And so I worked with Société Générale Bank.
Okay.
I started with in Paris in France,
All
and then Morocco, then Ghana. I did Accra, then Kumasi. Did some consultancy work for World Bank, MasterCard, UN. And I moved into academia. So currently I'm with Comparative. I can now change to University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development.
Okay.
I am currently the head of International Relations and Program Section. And I'm the lecturer with the management department. So professionally, a former banker. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm also with CGMA. So with UK, US, I'm a financial economist too. Yeah,
Wow.
so
It's interesting, both of you are accountants because Musa's original training
Yeah.
is also an
Yeah.
accountant. So
Yes.
accountants are going to political. So are you a pollster or a social
No.
science researcher? Because I like to just differentiate the two. They are not always the same, correct?
So I'm actually someone who runs strategy and intelligence. So my research is actually supposed to lead to strategy and to intelligence. So basically, when I do the research, the ultimate goal, and after this stage, when we are done with the primaries, is to now help the NPP with strategy and intelligence as to how to win the 2028. This is just a stepping stone towards 2028.
So you are not a neutral observer, just looking at.
No, I'm a member of the new.
You are a member of the New
Party.
Patriotic Party.
Yes, a
And
member of the New Patriotic.
so
It's important to state my biases. Yes.
I think that's a very interesting bias. So
Yeah.
I noticed that you use something called the 3-wave design
Yes.
for your Is it a survey or a poll?
So this one, we need to clarify it in terms of the research. So we did a three-way. Before I come to that, every research would have what we actually call the research objectives that we are looking for, the purpose of the research. And what we decided to do was to look at two contexts. So the context we are looking at, the first one is the November 2023 primaries. And the history for this one is to look at what started before 2008 general elections, which was His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Honorable Alan Trematin. This competition continued all the way to 2016, and then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia came into the scene. So it became Honorable Alan Trematin and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. If you look at the two of them, it was the two-horse race until Honorable Kennedy Ohinejapon showed up in 2023. In fact, none of us saw much of him till August 2023 during the superdelegates. And the surprising part was when he came second and Alan came third after the superdelegates. So that's where he caught the attention. And then we moved on to the November 2023. Your guest in the studio had his post in 2023, which predicted a full runoff. In fact, he didn't predict a winner in 2023, and that data is there.
Really?
And yes, he's there, so he can confirm that. So
Can
he
you- hold on.
predicted.
Is it true?
It's not true.
Okay.
Absolutely not true.
Okay.
We provided
so-
the headline polls, which showed
Okay.
similar to what we have. But then we went ahead and said that based on what we know, Bawumia was going to get 58% plus or minus 1.59% margin of error. And Kennedy, we gave him 34, so plus or minus. We never said no.
So the 58 was what he got 61.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the 30, yeah, because I remember your result was very
It
accurate.
can
very
go
close
to our website.
So,
It's there.
so you know what? Stay with your
Okay.
research and don't talk about Musa
Yes.
yet, because we'll do the cross
Oh, no.
examination later.
So
So
we'll
just
have
stay
to
with
do-
yours. So let's move on.
Yeah.
So I have established your papers of study, but I want you to talk about
Yeah.
the three-wave design and why, what you mean, whether it's a poll or a survey. Just wanted to get it. A social science study.
Just
Or,
back to that. So for a researcher, you don't back off on what you said.
Okay.
What I said, I'll send you the link, and I have the link. We've actually read it. We've gone through it. So I'll send it to you. So
No problem.
just to move on. So immediately right after that, I'll send it to you in less than some few minutes. I'll send it to you.
All right.
So if you look at the polls that came during that period, quite a number of the polls had a prediction that gave above. In fact, Ben Epson gave more than 70%, some 85, some 95. And you could realize that not majority of them gave a chance to Kennedy Ohinejapon. So what happened was that Kennedy Ohinejapon came in at 37%, in fact 38. For the simple person who is listening, who may not know much about research and statistics, out of every 10 people that voted in 2023, 4 of them rounded up voted for Kennedy and 6 voted for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Correct.
So what it means is that going into the general elections, you had 2 people that had a very strong grip on the delegates. Now, the second context is where you find yourself with the general elections, where it's now His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and then His Excellency John Mahama. Now, they go head to head, and it's not a 23,000 loss like what happened in 2008. It is not a 500,000 loss like what happened in 2020. It is not a 1 million like what happened in 2016, but you're looking at a 1.6, close to 1.7 million, moving away from 500,000 credits. So it's approximately about 2.2 million
Switch.
deficit.
Flip. Yeah. Yes, flip.
You are coming through?
No, I'm saying a
Ashton?
flip. So it's a 2.2 million flip from 500,000. Yes.
Yes,
to 1.
exactly.
Yes.
So what happens here is that he's moved all the way from, because I'm an accountant, I like to talk about credit and then
Yeah.
debit.
500,000
Basically-
credit to 1.6
Credit.
million deficit.
Exactly. So in a total of 2.2 flip averagely.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this, that is where we developed our conceptual model. That's why I don't want people to limit my work towards pause because it limits it because we are running strategy and intelligence.
No problem.
Whatever I have done would lead to an action.
Fair enough.
Now, if you look at the 5, and I don't know if your screen you're able to show, but that will be on page 4 of my slide.
Yes.
You see that there is a post-election reassessment.
So that's the rationale for a 3-wave design, this one.
Exactly. So that's a rationale for this. You see the post-election reassessment, you see what we call a retrospective evaluation. Now,
Okay.
the delegates, remember, these delegates are political actors. Now, it is very important that the demography of the delegates are important, but we should be careful with personal interpretation of the demography of the delegates. And I'll explain to you why. If you pick a case of how a person like Chairman Wontumi, and he's from Prempeh like I am, who rose to become the chairman of the New Patriotic Party and hoping now to contest for the national chairman, it tells you that the NPP is not so much biased with education like people think, because the reality on the grounds is that it is the third part of my conceptual framework that you need to have a very good look at it so that you understand it. You allow data to speak, you allow fact, and you don't interpret it beyond what it says. Now, when they did that retrospective evaluation of the 2024 elections, they realized this thing. Did the candidate that we presented, that's His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was he the right candidate? If the answer is yes, they stay with him. Then they asked themselves this question. In 2028, can we present this same candidate and would he win us power? If the answer is yes, they stick with this candidate. Now, what happens here is that, remember, I've stated that they are political actors. In fact, delegates are politicians. They are the representation of the party at the polling station to the electoral area, to the constituency executives, to the region, to the national, to diaspora, and different TESCON and other places. So they ask themselves electability questions. The moment they doubt that he cannot win power in 2028, and you have certain people who have come out to polls and work stating that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will struggle to win power in 2028. If you have such assertions going on, then the delegates now begin to ask electability questions. We want power. Okay. We are in position. We are seeing this thing.
I just want to understand something.
Okay, good.
The wave 1, August 2025, is it a survey you did or it's still desk-based analysis before your wave 2?
Everything is a survey, and I'm moving to...
No, I just want to establish that. No, don't worry. You see, we just want to understand.
Oh, no. So
you had 3 waves. You had 3 waves of questionnaires to delegates.
Yes.
3 rounds. Okay. And are these actual delegates or just party supporters?
Yes. So in fact, I think I will send you all the 3 reports after this. I've sent you just the final one.
Yeah.
We have a full comprehensive report. Some as high as 50 pages.
Okay, fair enough. So I just want to clarify that. So you did 3 waves. First wave was in August. Yes. Second was September,
so the
October.
August one was 20,000 random sample delegates.
20,000 in August.
Yes, in August. September to October was 26,000.
26,000.
The October 20th to January 9th, which is this report you are seeing, is 40,988. Is one of the most hectic work I've done for this period because we had to go according to the itinerary of every candidate so that we interview the delegates after they've met majority of the candidates.
So was it a random sample? How did you sample the delegates?
Random sampling. And now that is on the next page. So that's what I'm saying, that the answer is almost coming. So let me be done with these conceptual, then we move to that one. Because
we don't have a lot of time and we just want to understand.
In fact, I'm actually heading towards there. So
okay,
if you would be patient with it. So in the second stage, now they filter it. We have Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, His Excellency. We have Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan. These were the 2. Then 3 other candidates joined. So we have Dr. Brian Champong, Dr. Yose Duchum, and Engineer Kwabneje Japan. So they begin to ask, among these 5, which one of them can win us power? Remember, it's a political party and their focus is to win power so that they can execute their policies. Then the way to the third stage where they start the engagement with the delegates. So the candidates start meeting them, and these delegates are now listening to the message of the candidate. They are looking at the personality of the candidate, and the third one, they are looking at the people who are surrounding that candidate. Now, the fourth one is a consolidation where they are now making their own decisions, and they are also looking at the decisions of the other delegates and also voices outside the new patriotic party. And the last stage is where they now come to that point and then they make up their mind. It is a reason why we state, according to research, that about 96.6% as at the last time we did that, we came out with this polls, had already decided, and not much would alter where their minds have are made up and how they are going to vote. Now, if you come to the next page, which give the details,
Sample and data collection. Yeah, so
exactly
40,000 delegates, 20% of the population.
Yes, we use the 204,000, which is so in 2023, remember, I explained the context of 2023. In 2023, those who voted in 2023 are the same people voting in 2026 plus
From 7,000.
Plus about 7,000 adding to it. So you're going to have the TESCON elected executives and patrons, and then you're going to have the diaspora, former executives, former appointees, and so on and so all adding to it. Now, when we were doing this, we could not use that album because they had added and it had increased all the way to 215,000. Now, that 215,000, they were actually going through verification. It moved to 212, now to 211. So we decided, so it's important I state the scope of the research. We decided to use the album that has this 204,883 verified one as at October without adding. So here we do not include all the new additions because we didn't know who would interview. And
the point is well made.
Now, okay, the non-response is also important. What we did, and this one is about scalability in terms of precision and reliability of the research. When we first did this research, we did a sample size of about 8,000. The reason why, so our team is composed of professors, lecturers, almost pure academics. Now, the reason why we increased the sample size was that we understood the dynamics within the polling station, even before the constituency. So you can random sample and pick just 10 people, for example, from the constituency. But we realized that there's a sharp contrast from polling station A to B. So the more we sample, it does not mean that if you have little sample, it would not give you, no, but we are looking at precision and reliability because this is a delegate-based election. So we tried our possible best to sample as many polling stations as possible so that, and we now have each constituency and then the region. So our research can literally tell you every single constituency, what performance with happened there.
Fair enough.
Then we did this, as you can see at the bottom, we grouped them. So Bono East, Ahafo, and Western North. Now that is where most of the candidates had already told. We went on to Central Western Volta and ended up with Greater Accra, Eastern, and Ashanti.
So did you do? So this is all you did. All constituencies, all 276 constituencies.
All the constituencies.
Wonderful. I because of time and this is not a technical discussion. So I want you to just explain why in your results you have what you call.
So Bernard, just for information, I'm sending the link to Samir.
No problem. Yes. So you said you did something called a worst case scenario and a best case scenario. What is that, and why did you use that in your results?
Also, for the best case scenario and the worst case scenario, we want to avoid a lot of interpretation of data and stick with raw data. So the worst case scenario is the raw data. You ask the person, who did you vote for in 2023? Who would you vote for in 2026? Who would be your next best alternative? That's part of the report. We did not bring it this time, and we wanted to avoid a lot of interpretation of data and speak to raw data.
I see.
So the person says that the worst case scenario is just the raw data as it is. So we have just presented what we had, And that is what we've presented.
All right.
In the best case scenario,
I want them
we
to
are
go
looking
to
at the
page 9.
undecided
Hold on.
And then
I want them to go to
sorry.
page 9 so you explain what is on page 9. Because on page 9, I
Okay.
see national results of your survey. Worst
Yes.
case and best case. I see
Yes.
a red line trending upwards. I see a blue line trending somewhat downwards. And then I see
Yeah.
you do 3-wave shift. KOA 41, 44, 47. DMB 39, 39, 35. Can you explain this?
So what we realized was that we did not want to make a hypothesis without testing that hypothesis. So we decided that out of the undecided and undisclosed, we will sample them again and give it to so we have research group A, B, and C. That's the team we're working with. So research group A, when we give them, for example, 120, we give 20 of that to research group B so that it does quality assurance. So what we did with undecided and undisclosed was to sample it out and then call them again, but different group of people. And when we called, we came to the conclusion that almost 87% of this group of undecided and undisclosed were for Honorable Kennedy Ohinejapo.
I see.
And then 6% of them was for Dr. Brian Champa and 5% for Dr. Mahmoud Baumi and so on and so forth. So we now extrapolated based on this information to now move it to the best case scenario for them. The reason why we are doing this is that we want to avoid a lot of biases. We want to avoid a lot of interpretation. We want to remain as scientific as possible because I've told you that this is a step to another direction where it's meant for strategy and intelligence. Yeah.
I'll take a short break. When I come back, we'll try and see if the trends can align. Because in your trend, it's clear that there will be a second round in the worst case scenario because nobody's going to get 50%. But Musa Dankwa is very clear that Baumia will win this one touch based on his data. We'll try and align and see what lessons we can learn and insights. This is the point of view. Stay with us.
What does it take to be Ghana's most useful technology company? Is it the fact that we've been connecting businesses to their customers for over 20 years? Or that we power more than 12% of all electronic transactions in Ghana? Maybe it's that we are everywhere, from Accra to Ho, Kumasi to Taadi, Cape Coast to Tamale. Or is it that we safely process more transactions than any indigenous tech company here in Ghana? Or we deliver faster, we transfer safer, or we make businesses and life just a little easier? But what truly makes us Ghana's most useful technology company, it isn't the speed or the numbers. It's the people we connect, the dreams we keep moving, the communities we bring closer every single day. You prove every day what usefulness really looks like. We give you the tools, you provide the proof. Haptel, useful every day.
Who leads NPP in 2028 general elections? The party decides on Saturday, and we're looking at polls, 2 orthogonal polls. Musa Dankwa is predicting a one-touch for Dr. Baumia, and my other guest, Dr. Evans Duah, is predicting a Kennedy Japan first round lead, possible win, because he does best case scenario and worst case. In his worst case scenario, nobody crosses the Rubicon in the first round, but in his best case scenario, Kennedy Japan wins the first round. I'm coming back to Musa, and you gave me 2 numbers which I feel you need to explain. There's something you call who leads NPP in 2028. That one includes something called not disclosed. And yet your prediction has different numbers. So I want you to show me
The difference.
and explain why in one slide somebody has 48, somebody has 25, and 21% will not disclose. And yet in your prediction, you have a one touch for Dr. Baumia.
Right. If you look at the headline, call it headline poll.
This one.
Headline poll. Those who mention the person they want to vote for by name, or you have the name but you won't disclose. Those who were undecided were kind of distributed in the order of the race. Because in the normal election, undecided voters break the same way as the race if things remain normal. If there's abnormality in the race, depending upon who caused the abnormality, those who undecided tend to move away from the person causing the abnormality.
So abnormality could be in the US when somebody shot at Trump.
Yes.
And then the thing hit his ear. Or it changed everything. And then
they call it October surprise.
The October surprise
It's
is an abnormality.
Abnormality.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, the race will split the same order of the main race.
Wonderful.
Now, the not disclosed are people who know who they are voting for.
But they won't tell you.
They won't tell you. They won't tell you. So when we are accounting for that, we can see that Baume is on 48%, Kennedy 25%, Brian 6%, Educhum 1%, and not disclosing 21%, roughly. It means that this not disclosing can decide the race either one touch, if just 2% go to Baumia. If all the 21 goes to Kennedy, Kennedy goes to what, 46%, then you have a runoff scenario. But we are saying that it is highly unlikely that this race will go into runoff. Why are we saying so? That's why we went a step ahead to provide you with the predictions. The predictions are based on what we know, based on the answers these guys have given us much earlier, before they realize we're going to ask them who they will vote for.
So a lot of the undisclosed guys, you have other things about their views.
Yes, that we have classified them as Baumia voters, Ken voters, Brian voters, and those who you can't tell, which we have to use additional modeling techniques to put the numbers into this number. So when we did that, Baumia goes to 57%.
So go to that. So that's your prediction.
That's my predictions. That is what we want to be held accountable for, not this number.
So you are prepared to glean the votes of the undisclosed using what you did?
Yes.
And in that scenario, Baumia gets how much?
57% here.
Okay, so it means he goes up by 9%.
9% after the 21.
And Kennedy goes up by 3%.
3%.
Brian goes up by 7%.
A lot.
Educhum by 1%.
Yes.
Japan still doesn't
Still
get
remain
anything.
where he is.
That's quite interesting because, you know, my challenge with this is usually when you do national polls, again, 2024 election, a lot of the undisclosed break for the opposition. You notice when we did the Mahama Baumia one.
No, for them they were they were disclosing.
All
just
through.
undecided.
Or prior to this, because I feel like undisclosed.
The undisclosed was an NPP primaries.
Yes.
And no two elections are the same.
Because in the first one, a lot of undisclosed broke for Kennedy.
Yes.
In 2023.
Yes. And this time, they are breaking. In fact, he had the upper hand among the undisclosed. And recently, he lost grounds on those people, and they are moving towards Brian.
Interesting. So you feel like Dr. Echampo will benefit more from the undisclosed than Kennedy Japan?
In terms of numbers.
Yeah, because he's jumping from 6 to 13.
But overall.
Kennedy's jumping from 28 to 25 to 28.
Yeah, but yes, in terms of quantum. Well, he was from 6% thereabout, and he goes to almost doubling his performance.
My challenge is, you know, when you said the delegates are usually older and conservative, I felt like an undisclosed will be somebody who doesn't want to go with what the establishment wants. So that if Dr. Baumia is the one who led in 2023, he's a candidate for 2024, 48% say we'll vote for him. 21% I'm going to tell you. You feel like people who want to shake the system but do not sure who you are don't want to tell you.
They're not many.
So generally, undisclosed will break for the others than for the main guy. That's the way I sort of see it.
Bernard, the guy says he agrees strongly that bringing the candidate for the second time will help the party. Strongly. And he tells you that I won't disclose.
But that's 45%.
I'm just
and
coming.
that 45% and 48 are pretty the same because in that scenario of the triangle,
I am coming.
Yeah.
I am coming. He tells you that strongly agree. Then he says not disclosing. Someone says strongly disagree, not disclosing.
I see.
And there are people who are in the neutral in the middle.
The 34%.
32%.
We don't know where they are headed.
But we have so many ways of unearthing them. And if you run the race and say, okay, how many people have disclosed that they support the second term or a second chance or they don't support it without those not disclosing? You can see that the race is square. Baumia and Kennedy are par on that proportion. So initially he was getting more, but Brian moved from fewer percentage to about 16%. So he creamed off.
So you are thinking Brian's voters are very similar to
Oh yes,
Kennedy's
of
voters?
course, unless they are from the same region. There are kind of regions where they're drawing their support from.
I see. What about the point around Evans has 40,000 delegates sample. 9,000 did not respond. But that's a pretty high number because your sample is 10,000 or so. So he seems to have spoken to more people, and his view was that because the delegate spread is not the same. My understanding of what he's saying is that polling station executives are more than MPs or constituency chairmen. So in his sampling, he took care of that by allotting more. Even if I'm wrong, correct me. By allotting more to the polling station executives. So in his view, having 40,000 out of 204,000 gives him the space to represent more of the grassroots. Evans, am I characterizing your sampling correctly?
Yes, so it's about the voter dynamics within the polling stations. So the more we capture, the better the precision and the reliability of the outcome of our prediction or extrapolation.
But Evans, you do know that sampling has more to do with how close it is to the final than how many. So the sampling, what makes a sample rigorous is not how close it is to the final population in terms of the number. It's in how the distribution mirrors the final.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. So that is 100% correct, and you are doing a fantastic job with that. So what is happening with the sampling is this: if you pick the composition of the constituency, you're having the MP first, the Council of Elders, the Council of Patrons. You're having the constituency executives, the electoral area coordinators. Then you move to the polling station. Now, on the average, we are looking about 94.5% of the polling station, okay, forming that base of that album on the average. So we can even go, I like to use 1 to 9 to make it easier for people. So let's say that if you pick every 10, one of them will be the executives, the MP coordinators, and 9
are polling station.
So what it means is that we are running a system where it is totally polling station executives, heavy density direction that will determine the outcome of the results. So the more and the closer you are to the polling station interrogation, the more precise you can be and the more reliable. So I do not in any way try to talk about any other person's post. I have said from the beginning that I want my research to lead to intelligence and strategy so that whoever reads my report has a better understanding of the dynamics and can make a better decision.
And you also you did telephone polls, right? You did telephone.
In fact, it's the only reliable way because they are actually scattered. You know, unlike the general elections where you can move to a market and interrogate any random person, this is actually a specific group of people.
So they were called on phone?
Yes, they are called because we do not have their addresses in the album.
All you have their phone numbers.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
So
let me just, I'll come back to your prediction. For the uninitiated, somebody will say, somebody has sampled 40,000 people and is predicting a certain outcome. Another person has sampled 10,000 people. Shouldn't we believe the guy who has sampled the 40,000 over the guy who sampled, because you sampled 10,000, he sampled 40,000. So clearly he has more numbers than you. Of course, that's what, but I want you to explain why that doesn't necessarily follow.
Look, clearly ours is opinion poll, which is different from this kind of research.
Okay.
Bernard. And opinion polls are specific target to elections, the results, rather than informing strategy and details and that kind of thing. It will give you a bit of insight as what you could do, but it will not give you how, what. So opinion polls, our work is not research to inform strategy or inform any person as what to do. It is purely on the spot, period in time. And you see, in polling, noises have major impact. Remember when we were doing the last election, I said when DMB was in Ashanti region, his numbers went up. When he left, it came down. So when you are doing polling, the periods have implication on data you see. Now, we narrowed our survey to just 1 month, for 4 weeks. So the noises are limited. When you stretch this poll over 3-4 months, a lot of noises come in. So we don't call ours research. It's a poll.
I see.
And poll has a specific objective to determine who is going to win. And from what we have done, Bernard, random sampling, and we focus interviewing only polling station executives.
Only polling station executives?
We don't
so you take care of the base?
Yes. We don't take the original because they would probably not tell the truth.
So you did only polling station executives?
Absolutely.
So the 9 out of 10, it says, they are the same people you targeted?
That is where we went to.
I see.
But Bernard, I don't know if I can ask.
Evans, yes, go ahead.
Does that mean he did not interview the electoral area coordinators? He didn't interview the constituency executives? He didn't interview the council of elders, council of patrons, and then he didn't random sample them? They are all delegates, by the way, just to be sure.
So he forgot. So yes, so that's a question to you.
Bernard, 90% of the population would decide the outcome of the election. You call a council member. We know the game in this country, Bernard.
So you focus on the polling station executives alone?
Who are free to speak freely.
So just be clear. So
and
your
sample... And the coordinators in the electoral areas.
No, so that's the point. So your sample was not random in total. It was...
Random within the strata.
So you stratified it and then you randomized it.
Yes.
So you basically said, let me choose 9 out of the 10.
Yes.
Evans, are we together? And then the 9 out of 10, you did a random.
From that.
But Evans, you are saying that you didn't do that. You, in your random model, you give more leeway to the 9 out of 10. But there will be 1 or 2 of the one inside as well. That's what you are saying.
Exactly. So ours covers every single stakeholder within the constituency. So what it means is that while random sampling captures the member of parliament, the council of elders, the council of patrons, the electoral area coordinators, the constituency executives, and the average we're having was about 5.5% for them and 94.5.
Fair enough. So there'll still be more. There'll be more of the polling station guys.
Exactly.
But let's come to your results. Let's come to your results for want of time. So I just want to explain something. In your 3 rounds, national result, worst case, best case, slide 9. Kennedy has 41.7 in August. Then it goes to 44.11 in October, early October. Then January, he comes to 47.7. This is when you don't allocate the undecided. Baumia starts from 39, so which means that in August, Kennedy and Baumia are very close. He maintains 39 point, in fact, actually goes up 39.51 slightly in October. Then by January, he's down to 35. Brian comes from 11 in August, 6 in October, and goes up to 8. So this is your worst case if you don't allocate your undecided, and I will not tell you people. So based on this, you are predicting a second round. I can infer, correct?
No.
You're
so
not?
Based on this, no. I'm inferring that if any one of these 5 candidates will cross 50 plus 1, it would only be Honorable Kennedy Ohinejapon. In other words, we do not in any way see any of the 4 candidates crossing a 50 plus 1. That is what it means.
Yeah, but you need to answer that for a round. So for example, if anybody will cross 50% in the first round,
yes,
it's Kennedy.
Yes.
If he's unable to cross and there's a second round, that's a different question. So you cannot answer the second question in the first one.
Exactly. You're
because
correct.
if you add, for example, Baumia, Brian, and the others, and what they get in the first round, it will be more than Kennedy for a second round.
Yes, but the difference with that worst case scenario is that there is undecided and undisclosed who would all be voting on that day. So the best case scenario is an assumption where every single person has decided. And we did not assume or stay by hypothesis. We tested the assumptions, we tested the hypothesis, and extrapolated it to the best case scenario. So the best case scenario, in fact, we have a third model we didn't bring out. It's called the most probable case scenario. The reason why I did not bring that one out is that that is an interpretation of the data. What you see is raw data scientifically proven.
Okay, how did you allocate the undecided to arrive at your best case?
Yes, I think I explained earlier that what we did was that if we pick, for example, the 12,000 people, just an example, who are both undecided and undisclosed, we now sampled the same 12,000 and then gave it to research group B and C after group A had done their job, and then tried to interrogate them again to see if they would come out with answers different from what they gave. If they did, who are they choosing? And then based on that, we now get an index. And based on that index, we can now extrapolate to the bigger undecided undisclosed. So scientifically, that's how we went through that process.
So guys, show me page 10. So for Evans, Duah, the focus on the left, right? The blue chart or the blue bar is the key point. Kennedy Japan, in the best case scenario, wins 52% of the vote. Dr. Bawumia comes second with 36.2, and Brian Champong gets 8.6. Educhum gets 2.05. Kennedy Japan gets 0.5. So in your best case prediction, Kennedy wins with 52%.
Yeah, 52.59%, yes, in the best case scenario. But do you know what we did? If you look at it carefully, you see from the West, that was 41.73, and his highest or the ending being a 52.59. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia from 39.09, and that happening at 36.24. Now, I need you to understand some dynamics within this election. This election is if you look at the history of the NPP, we are not supposed to even have a keen competition at this stage after a flag bearer, if you look at the history. But this is an election where once it becomes anybody's game, it simply means that a revolution or a change is very probable. These are interpretations at this point. Whatever I'm saying now are basic interpretation now. Now, the reason why it is important, and I like to always state my biases because of my background so that you understand the interpretations. Now, it is an election that you had a candidate who, remember, NPP ran an executive presidency. The Ghana, we ran an executive presidency, and the president appoints almost about 7,000. Now, if His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa in 2023 officially, openly endorsed his running mate and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and by openly endorsing him, you had most of the appointees, regional national executives supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and yet still he had 61%. Move on to 2026, and the dynamics have been totally different. In 2023, it was an establishment plus a prepared candidate with system sophisticated enough to run an elections. Kennedy had no systems running, did not have all the people you are seeing around, did not have the defections you have seen. And in fact, the level of, I had to travel. In fact, last week I deliberately did that. Travel to the Middle Belt, travel to other places, and had to engage randomly some of the delegates just to see what is going on the ground. The reaction and what is happening on the ground is that from a strategy and intelligence point of view, there is a lot of social media cosmetic campaign happening. A lot of people are missing the strategy. And if you ask me confidently, none of the four candidates will cross that 50+1 on Saturday. And if any one of them will cross, it will be Honorable Kennedy of Japan. I stand by this, and it is based on data and not fact.
I have two more questions for either of you. For yours, is on page 17, where you give a regional breakdown. But before I do that, let me come to Musa. There's a slide you call trend analysis using 1 month moving average, where from September, Bawumia was 63, Kennedy was 22, Brian was 9, and then not disclosed was 9, and Brian was 3. We call it trend analysis using 1 month moving average. All right. So Bawumia was 63 in September. Kennedy was 22, undisclosed was 9, and then Brian was 3. That moving average, by the time we get to January, Bawumia is now 48. Kennedy is 25. Undisclosed has rather jumped from 9 to 20. And then Brian has moved from 3 to 6. I feel it's you need to explain that because we are getting closer to the election and yet undisclosed is rather increasing.
Yes, I mean, when you pick a poll at a certain point in time, some of the polls were picked when certain candidates were in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the money issues in these elections. Mm-hmm. So when he discloses to you, he thinks you're calling from another camp. Right? So he will not disclose. Now, the interesting thing is that even though Bawumia is declining, the numbers are not going to his opponent. Have you seen it?
The numbers are going to undisclosed.
Undisclosed. And if there's another chart down the line, that shows the current race vis-a-vis those who voted in the 2023 elections. That data shows that Bawumia retains 81% of his core base in the last election. He loses 9% to Ken and about 6% to Brian. And 4% of his 2023 were not disclosing. 4% of them not disclosing. When you come to Ken retains 81%, just like Bawumia. So like for like at par. But he loses 11% to Bawumia. So the person who is a challenger, who is mounting a challenge, has rather lost grounds in terms of defections.
So that's interesting. But shouldn't Bawumia be worried that he's dropped from 63 to 48 between September and January?
One, he should be worried. One, but two, the comfort is that the numbers are not going to his opponent.
But where are they going?
They are inserting into undisclosed. And whether this undisclosed because they're waiting for financial inducement and other things, it's a matter because sometimes when they are in the field and you call them and you disclose who you are going to vote for, the money will not get to you. But they know that you have disclosed who you are voting for.
But undisclosed could also mean that last-minute campaign activities can influence them.
No. They are undisclosed, but they don't say they are undecided.
Okay. It's undisclosed,
and only 8% or so of the delegates are saying that they may change their mind. 8%.
So it's undisclosed and not undecided?
Not undecided. This is undisclosed.
Evans, let me do your slide 17 because I thought it was quite interesting. Your regional breakdown. In the map on the left of the screen, this is the
so Bernard,
explain what's happening here to me.
Let's do page 15 and then move to page 17.
Okay, 15 to 17. So it will help me. 15.
Yes, the percentages. So what you see on page 15 is that if you pick Ashanti region, it is keenly contested that we think none of them will cross 50%. Keenly contested in Ashanti region. And the reason why Ashanti region is the dynamics in Ashanti region. I'm from Ashanti region. Ashanti region, we had a formidable chairman Untumi, who had a grip on the region and does not have that same grip on that region because the party is in opposition. He has personal issues he's dealing with. And now he's also moving to national. So he's not holding so much the fourth in Ashanti region. Then you have Coker, who was also pro-Bawumia in the past and now has decided to go for neutrality, supposedly, because he wants to present a united Ashanti front. So Ashanti region, for the first time, opposed to 2023, is an open market for anybody. Now, Ashanti, according to our data, it is one of the most transactional regions in terms of this election. It is about what benefit do I get directly from the candidate or the people that will let me know who my loyalty or my vote will go to. So there's a lot of dynamics that is happening that will shock people with Ashanti region results.
Hold on, I'll come back to you to finish. I'll take a short break. I want you to develop this point. Stay with us. This is the point of view. We're still analyzing the numbers as the D-Day approaches for NPP. Stay with us.
On Friday, 6 February, join us at the Kempinski Hotel Gold Coast in Accra, Ghana for the 2026 Africa Prosperity Champions Awards and Presidential Gala Dinner under the patronage of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to celebrate exceptional achievements and inspire the next generation of leaders. The Africa Prosperity Champions Awards, the APCAs, recognize extraordinary change makers driving Africa and global Africa's integration and transformation. Compiled largely from public nominations, managed by KPMG and overseen by a governing APCA Academy of Esteemed Leaders. This year, we honor champions across 10 prestigious categories. Woman of the Year, Young Entrepreneur of the Year, Africa Soft Power Champion, SME Champion of the Year, Excellence in Digital Innovation, Global African Leadership, Industrialist of the Year, Financial Leadership in SMEs, Green Africa Award, and Transformational Infrastructure Award. Be part of Africa's ambitious vision for Agenda 2063. For tickets, visit africaprosperitynetwork.com.
So tonight is a numbers night, and forgive us if we are showing too many charts. My guests are, of course, Musa Dankwa, who's a pollster. We've known him for a few years. We also have Dr. Evans Duah, who's predicting something completely different. He says only one of the 5 candidates can win one touch. He thinks that's Kennedy Japan, based on his 3 waves of research from August last year. And Musa Dankwa believes that Dr. Bawumia is going to win the election one touch. And he doesn't see a path for Kennedy in the first round. He doesn't see a path for Kennedy Japan in the first round, at least. I'm still with Dr. Evans Duah. Doc, I'm back on slide 15. You've given the region a split for the 2.
Yes.
You feel like Ashanti is going to be very, very close.
Yes. But Ken, so from our data, if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is supposed to win, he'll win with about 1,000 margin. But if Ken is to win, he'll win with about 2,000 to 3,000 margin, because it is keenly contested in Ashanti region.
I see.
Ahafo region is also close. And if you look at it, so in all cases, you look at the worst and then you look at the best case. Ahafo is keenly contested, but the number of undecided and undisclosed, once you interrogate them again, you realize that Ken will win Ahafo. Buno is the surprise one, because when we started, Buno was for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and it shifted to Ken and has stayed with him. Buno East stays with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He can still win Buno East, but looking at the undecided and undisclosed, it can swing and can change a flip to Kennedy Ohene Japan. Central region is going to be an emphatic win. Eastern region is a surprise, because we had different things happening at the different ways. When we started, Brian Echampong was leading. By the second wave, Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan was winning. Our data shows something different. If you pick Eastern region, our data is showing that Dr. Brian Echampong is actually taking about 85% of his vote from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In fact, he hits Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia more than he hits, and 15% from, because remember it was a 2-horse race till he stepped in. So he's taking majority of his vote from, in Eastern region specifically, from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So we are predicting that was Ken would do between 8 to 10,000, the 10,000 to 13,000 that Brian and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would do, they would be going between 6 to 7, 3 to 6, which means that Kennedy in all scenarios would win as they split. So if you have Kennedy against Brian Echampong, Brian will beat Kennedy in Eastern. If you have Kennedy against Bawumia, Bawumia will beat Kennedy. But once the 2 of them are splitting the votes, Kennedy will emerge because of that.
So Brian's base is Eastern, clearly.
Yes, that's clearly the strongest place.
And then Greater Accra, you said Kennedy is winning.
Greater Accra is going to be an emphatic win. Remember, in Greater Accra in 2023, he had 17,200 and 19,002. Just close to 1,800 difference. You pick a place like Adenta with no visible support from the top. In fact, there was only one person in Adenta that supported Ken. And he won Adenta by 1 vote. And that was in 2023, when a lot of people felt whipped in line because of the executive presidency scenario that I gave to you. So Greater Accra now has seen a lot of change and dynamics that we can tell you.
But is it what delegates are telling you, what you're analyzing? Because you said you didn't want to interpret. So you're doing data, but now you are interpreting. Because essentially, you are not telling what delegates are saying. You are telling me what you know from the previous election, and it's not the same thing.
No. So if you realize what we've done, I have never given any word without reference to a context.
I see.
And that is what we've done with this research. Any statement that I make is well based and anchored and premised on a context.
Okay.
So I have never made any statement throughout this without reference to.
So for want of time, from what I see, Dr. Bawumia is winning northern, northeast, upper west in your...
But we had a surprise with upper east. In wave 1, wave 2, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was leading. But in wave 3, Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan is leading in upper east.
In upper east?
Yes, that's the Boko area.
So basically, Dr. Bawumia is winning only
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 regions?
Yes.
Wow. He wins upper east, Savannah, northern, Bono East,
stretch,
and northeast.
Yes. So in the previous one, he was doing 7 out of 7 against 9. And if even was 7 against 8 with Brian having 1. And then he changed to 7 to 9 and now 6 to 10.
All right. Let me just come to Musa on your regional breakdown. Is there any regional emphasis to the results? So because I think in 2023, Kennedy won Central.
And Volta.
2 out of 16. Is that going to be the same?
It's going to be the same.
So he will still win Central and Volta?
Yes.
But Bawumia will win 14 of the 16?
Yes.
That's what your data tells you?
Yes.
In terms of emphasis, will Ashanti be as keen contested as he says?
No. That's surprising. The surprise that would probably manifest on Saturday.
So Ashanti will break for Bawumia
in the last poll, Bawumia was around 49% Ashanti region.
In the last poll?
Yes, and about 20-something% were not disclosing. So he was even much closer to the 50 than the national level.
So you see a clear victory for Bawumia and Ashanti?
Yes.
He says it's going to be a split.
Well,
we have Saturday night to know. Is there any region we should look out for surprises? Greater Accra, in your numbers, what does Greater Accra say?
You see, in the headline poll, Bawumia is leading Bawumia by 2-1. So
in the headline poll?
In the headline poll, you will see that Bawumia was around 43 or 44% and Ken around 22%. So the gap is still big. You know, look at the difference, the margins, even in the headline poll. Where you could see the margin being smaller, that's where you could see a tough competition happening. But when the margin is over 15, 20%, then that is something that really, election data is really difficult to close. Even with those who say they are not disclosing. See, those who are not disclosing, Bernard, in the 2020 election, there was fear and kind of cajoling of people to go to one side. 2023 elections. So we saw that heavily. That we don't disagree. But every election, the dynamics change.
But there's a trend he points out to, which I've heard other people point out to, that usually for the NPP, the second attempt of a leading contender, he does better. Kufuor in 98 for 2000 did better than Kufuor in 95 or 96 or 96. Akufo-Addo in 2014 did much better, indeed, in 2011, right? Did much better than Akufo-Addo of 2007. And he's done much, much better. So the concern is that even the scenario that he wins, he may not get the 61 that he got in 2023. This is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That he's the only candidate whose second attempt at a primary as the leading contender does not result in a bigger margin. And this is even true for NDC as well. So there's clearly something going on there.
Bernard, you know, I warned you last year that trend at a point loses relevance.
Yes.
And look at the situation now. How old were we when Kufuor and Co. And look, time has changed. And the dynamics of every election aren't the same. And look, Brian is a very formidable candidate. Brian is the variable in this election that has changed everything. So don't just classify Brian as ordinary. Normally in NPP you have 2 horse race.
Yeah.
And
so,
the second
Brian
person,
has blown that out of the water.
Yes, so that those kind of trend will not work.
So, I get your point. So, is Brian a champion who takes the Bawumia vote?
Look, 6 or 7 months ago, I remember I told Ken Camp that for them to get a very good chance, Brian must join their team.
That's the way you saw the numbers playing.
Long ago.
That's what you saw?
Yes, because look, the strength of Ken and Brian is from the same regions. So who loses?
But the delegate breakdown shows Greater Accra and Ashanti have more delegates.
It represents the same as EC register.
No, my point is that, for example, the Northeast, Upper East and Upper West, the delegates count is much smaller than it is for Ashanti and Greater Accra.
If you look at our sample size, how many do we interview there?
So it's the same?
It's the same. It's the same. But Bernard, I think I prefer to live in now than yesterday. And that is why we defy every logic in the last election and got things right.
Because when you look too much at the past, you get confused.
You get confused.
But past gives context, doesn't it?
But now it's more important.
But don't forget, you showed me the age profile, and in that age profile, your inference was that the older voters will stick with tradition. So there's a lot to be said for past trends.
No, that's not trend. That's the structure.
Yeah, but the structure influences the way they vote and they think, right? You are saying that older people want establishment.
No. See, what I was saying is that
Yeah.
the older people are amenable to certain messages and certain risks they don't like taking. Right? And if that assumption is correct for conservative parties,
then it means that the trends are important. Because it means that the older voters
Bernard,
will vote on the basis of tradition.
The Saturday is here. I don't want to argue too much.
No, there's just logical inferences. Let me take your comments on history and what's happening. So, Evans, you notice that 2024 general election defied a lot of trends. I mean,
yes.
Look, to look at the numbers, you already showed us the net flip for NDC, a deficit of 500K to a surplus of 1.6. So even though context and history is important, we are being told that the electoral landscape today is very different, and Brian Champong is like the X factor in this race. What do you make of that?
I think this interview has been just excellent for me. I mean, your line of questioning, the other guest's line of answers, and where we are taking the conversation. What we are all agreeing on, which is very clear, is that there is not a one-size-fits-all. In simple terms, a scenario-based analysis we should do. There's one important thing that we need to understand. You started it, but I think you did not conclude. We cannot ignore the population density within the regional dimensions. And you started that. Ashanti region, Greater Accra first, Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, Volta. These 6 regions are accounting to about 69% of the entire Volta population. In simple terms, almost 7 out of 10 are coming from these 6 regions. What that means is that it is the reason why Kennedy won Volta and Central and came so close in Greater Accra and had that 37%. Any gain in Greater Accra, which there is a lot of dynamics, and I don't need to state names for you to know the dynamics that have happened in Greater Accra, because I don't want to do interpretation here. I want to stick with facts and stick with context. If Greater Accra, definitely per our data, would change, Eastern region would change, Western region, and then we are having a Volta Central. All those places, if you look at how the votes are going to be, if our prediction, and that one is something that I normally don't want to go there, but we are looking at Kennedy securing between 80,000 to 95,000 within 7 regions. The moment he secures that, he has already cemented himself in a position of 45% already. And that automatically annuls a lot of these predictions, putting him below that 37%. Because this is someone with a more sophisticated, I've been on the grounds, I'm trying to monitor things. Brian Echampong, formidable candidate. Even Dr. Yawose Duchum, some people, because we, if you look at our wave, even between September and October, we had a hike for him, and then he dropped again. And you can see that people, this is what is happening. The reason why it's turning out to be a two-horse race is not because they want to just focus on two people. Nobody wants to engage with a candidate they are not sure will win. So they see some of the candidates as future projects. And that is something that most of the people do understand. Remember, I said, these delegates are politicians. In fact, for you to do a proper research and understanding, you should even put yourself in the shoes of these politicians to understand the dynamics of this election that we're having. So what I'll just say is that in terms of pattern, it's scenario based. So we can never be
by way of your definite, I won't call it prediction. My inference from your submission is that the only person who can win first round is Kennedy Japan.
I stand by it based on data.
So on Sunday morning, if there's a different outcome, you owe me.
So we say this in French, okay? Sans donner, vous n'êtes qu'une personne de plus avec une opinion. Without data, you are just another person with an opinion.
Wonderful.
I wouldn't even have any right to be in this studio if it wasn't for data. So my everything that I'm saying is purely based on the data. And I'll be honest with you, this has been the toughest work I've done in the past 10 years.
Wonderful. So for you, Kennedy is likely to win.
Yes.
If there's going to be a second round, he will still be in the lead from the first round.
Yes.
So those are the two things you are saying.
The order of the 5 candidates would not change from our research on Saturday. What might change will be the margins.
So whether it's a first round or second round, definitely Kennedy's in the lead.
And Kennedy can do all the way to 56, from 52 all the way to 56%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Musa, I'll sort of take your closing comments and also reiterate your prediction. Your closing thoughts on data, inference, history, trends, and unpredictability.
Bernard, you notice that I am a man of few words.
Yeah.
I just say the numbers and I leave it there. Few comments around demography to understand why the numbers are looking the way they're looking. When I do triangulation, it gives me comfort that all the areas we've looked at, the data set, is pointing to one direction. And that direction is that Bawumia would win this Saturday election one touch.
One touch.
We are saying that based on our model, his lowest score will be 54%, which is the 57% that we gave him minus 3% margin of error. Or he will get 57 plus 3. That is maximum 60%. And what I've also said is that I am so much confident in Baume's numbers. But from what I've seen, they are more stable in terms of the variability.
There's no noise in the data.
There's no noise in his side of the data. With Brian and Kennedy, only God knows how they will trade the votes among themselves.
Wow. So you're not even sure. So Brian could do better.
Yes, Brian could do better.
But certainly not enough to affect Baume's first round win.
You see, I've always said for a long time that for them to do very well and pull Baume by the neck, they must go to his numbers and pull the numbers to their side. What we've seen is Baume's numbers going to not disclosing. And that's not good enough.
So it means Brian and Kennedy are sharing votes?
Yes, they're sharing votes.
Wow, interesting. So for you, there's no scenario under which there'll be a second round?
Look, I've said this in 2024 elections. The same thing I've seen here. Bernard, I have done this job long enough. Kennedy cannot cross 50% plus 1.
Wow. We will just be enjoying ourselves here, watching, and whoever wins, may Ghana win. That's what we are looking for. We want good people to lead all our political parties. So development
So
comes
Bernard,
to our children.
what would you have for me if it comes through to?
No. I am not making any predictions, so I don't have anything for you. I'll just say congratulations. Well done, my good and faithful servant. That's all I'll say. I'm not betting against or betting for.
It's just a
yes,
joke.
but it's really good talking to you, and it's always good to have different perspectives and different assumptions. And don't forget, viewers, that depending on the question you take, you may get a different answer. At the end of the day, agronomy firm, that's what they say, right? Thanks for watching tonight's edition. I've been talking to Dr. Evans Duah, who's initially an accountant and added other things to it. Musa Danko is also an accountant, both chartered, and added many things to it as well. We'll see you next time, hopefully Saturday morning, as we track the elections throughout the day, and by hopefully 6 or 7 p.m., we'll know who's leading NPP in 2028. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.